I again wish you all a very warm welcome for this video tutorial. In the previous video, we have discussed up to the metabolism of living world. Let us discuss the rest of that chapter in our biology. Okay. So, in previous video, we have discussed about anabolism and catabolism. Next, the characteristic of organism, that is homeostasis. What do you mean by homeostasis? The homeostasis is a process of maintaining constant and favorable internal environment. Maintenance of constant favorable internal environment is called as homeostasis. Suppose we have a specific temperature, specific internal body temperature. We have specific oxygen level in our blood. We have specific level of water in our blood. So, the homeostasis deals with temperature regulation or thermoregulation, deals with water regulation or osmoregulation. All sorts of activities are essential for maintaining living condition. So, homeostasis is this. Okay. Next goes to consciousness. What do you mean by consciousness? It deals with awareness of surrounding, or we can awareness about surrounding, awareness towards our environment. Okay, with respect to environmental stimuli. We can tell an organism conscious when there is a visible change or reaction produced by stimuli. Okay, when the stimuli is perceived by the individual, immediately certain, so it is otherwise called as the visible reaction in the individual due to applied stimuli. Visible reaction by applied stimulus. Applied stimulus is called as consciousness. Plants also react to the stimuli. Suppose we are placing a plant out of light, immediately it will bend towards light. Okay. In touch me not plant, the leaves close down on touching it. Human beings have self consciousness. So, consciousness is another important characteristic of living organism. After consciousness, that is adaptation. What do you mean by adaptation? Adaptation derived from two Greek words, ad and apt. Ad means towards, apt means adjustment. The adaptation is a process of modification in the body with respect to environmental change, or changes with respect to environment is called as adaptation. Okay. The adaptation changes with respect to environmental condition is called as adaptation. Okay. Two type of adaptations are there: short term adaptation, long term adaptation. These are permanent changes, long term adaptation. Short term adaptations are the changes which are induced for a short period. Suppose uh, darkening of skin when exposed to sunlight. The changes appear for a short duration. It is a short term temporary change. Okay. The increase in heartbeat during running. The heartbeat increases for a short duration only. So it is a short term adaptation. Long term adaptation means presence of appendages in limbs. It is a long term adaptation. Presence of beak in birds, presence of feather in birds. These are long term adaptations. Okay. So after long term adaptation, repair and regeneration, another character. Repair. This process of repair and regeneration deals with the process of replacement of lost and damaged parts. It deals with replacement of lost and damaged parts. Okay, this is called as regeneration. In lower organism, the regeneration capacity is higher in comparison to higher organism. Suppose we will take the example of lizard. When the limb is lost, another limb can be regenerated. In case of our body, the lost cells can be replaced. Okay. So the regeneration ability in our body is very much reduced in comparison to lower organisms. Okay. Also this is called as regeneration. Another character that is called as aging. Aging. It is one of the progressive decline in structure and function of organism. Progressive decline in structure and function of organism and function. This is called as aging. What happens during aging? The individuals are growing older. There is deleterious changes occur in the body. So the aging in organism leads to death of the individual or termination of all functional activities. Clear? So aging, after aging we will go through death. Okay. Come to the last characteristic of life or living organism, that is death. It is the ultimate termination of functional stage. We have to discuss death. Death is the ultimate termination of functions of body. Okay. There are two different type of death. One is clinical death, second one is biological death. What are the differences between this clinical and biological death? Come to it. The clinical death is not complete death. Clinical death where the heartbeat stops, the pulse rate, pulse also stopped, breathing stopped, no breathing, there is no dilation of pupil, dilation of pupil towards light. These are the clinical death. So we can tell an organism is dead. So what is biological? It is the final death. Suppose such functions are not going on in an individual, we cannot call it as dead. We can call it dead when there is a stoppage of function of brain. Okay, when the brain fail to perform its function and do not get oxygen, do not getting oxygen, it is started inhibiting its function. We can take as biological death or final death. What happens during brain death? There is polar mortis, that means the body color became pale. Liver mortis, settling of blood at the lower part of the body. Algor mortis, reduction of body temperature. Rigor mortis, the contractile stage of the muscle. Okay, prolonged contraction. These are the different characteristics of living organism. So we have discussed the living world or characteristic of living organism completely. In the coming video, we will go for the next chapter. Okay, thank you all.